game against Zebre? Can't take them lightly.
No, we can't take them lightly. It's a massive game for us, obviously, but yeah, it's going to be it's a pretty hard place to go and play anyway. So we need to make sure that our performance is where we need it to be. So big focus.
What have you analysed about their strengths?
They've been playing a hell of a lot of attacking rugby of late, and they don't mind throwing it around. So they've got some big ball runners. Obviously, guys like Brendan Leonard are a big threat for them. So they're a team that, again, if you give them too much, they'll run with it.
Chris, what do you know about Brendan Leonard? Did you come across him in New Zealand?
Yeah, he was with me at Waikato. So I know Brendan reasonably well, and again, really good player. Was a good chief, good All Black, good Waikato player. So I mean, he's going to be a handful. So and he's a big part of their team. So and what they try to do. So again, it's just a matter of how we use our systems defensively around set piece to try and shut things down for them, and again, just making sure we're accurate in what we're doing on attack.
Do you chase tries from first whistle? You need a bonus point, don't you?
Yeah, I mean that's pretty clear. But I mean, we've had a good discussion about this as a team, and it's a tough place to go and play. And if you start, and you watch teams that have tried to play too much and too quickly against them, or try to go after tries too early, then they've come unstuck or they've made a long day of it. So first and foremost, what we've got to do is just make sure that we're accurate. And again, if we're accurate, we believe that we're good enough to get out of this game what we need. But we can't and we won't if we start getting too loose.
Sure. With Dan Baker, it was quite clear the Dragons were targeting him. Is he going to have to live with stuff like that? Defenders coming up in quickly and marking him closely?
Yeah, I think so. I think if you look at the Dragons team, they targeted our whole pack, and that's just a kick on in terms of how that works out for Dan, because he's obviously last man down in scrum and around the place. But obviously he's a threat of ours, and he is going to have to live with this. But he's got the skill set to be able to do that. What we've got to make sure of is with all our young guys coming through is that we've given them the tools in their build-up to performance and their preparation to be able to cope with those things. So again, that's just a bit of learning for Dan, and he'll be better for that.
What have you made of him this season? Is that the last 2 weeks he's been exceptional, hasn't he?
Yeah, he's been okay. Yeah, I think. Mate, he's done some good things, but if you look closely through his game, and as he's done, and as we've been able to sort of sit down with him, yeah, he's done some pretty awesome things there. But again, they're still learning. He's a young guy, a young player, and the thing is that if you start giving him or talking him up too much or too early, then he gets the little bits of detail. So again, he's got lots of learning in his game, and he's going to be a hell of a professional rugby player. But he's just got to keep moving forward at the moment and learning from his mistakes.
Yeah. Do you think he learned from being with Wales last summer in Japan?
It's hard for me to know, mate. I don't know that prior coming in, but what I do know about Dan is that he's been able to build on his experiences, and I think that's the pleasing thing from a coach's perspective, that you get a young professional coming through, and what you want is guys that learn from their mistakes and keep moving forward, and that's exactly what Dan does. So all things bode well for him in the future if he continues that sort of that trend.
Chris, is Ian Evans likely to start for you this week, or likely to feature?
We're looking at all selection opportunities, and obviously Ian comes back into rotation after his few weeks of his holiday. So again, we'll be looking to see if we can get him out there.
Yeah. Another second row you signed this week from South Africa. He looks a decent enough prospect.
Yeah, what's exciting about this is that he's a young guy, and he's within the South African system. He has been touted for future honours, and so it's a massive coup for Ospreys to be able to go internationally and pick up young guys like that. So, I think a fair bit of credit needs to be handed to our recruitment and retention department. They've done a great job there. What's exciting about this kid coming in is that he's a big man, and when we lose Alan Wynne-Jones to Wales, and we've got young guys like Lloyd there as well, Rhonda's going to be able to hopefully be able to provide us with some stability and some real core strength in our tight five. And from a coach's perspective, you go back to the game, some of the games that we've lost while internationals have been on, we've had light packs out, and what this does is allows us to blood some of our younger guys, but also to to really still have a lot of meat in our pack, and that's the key thing that we've learnt about Europe and learnt about this Pro12 competition.
Just in Tipperick, you picked up a dead leg against the Dragons. Is he okay?
Hasn't trained a hell of a lot this week, but he was out running around today. So again, we'll just assess how he pulls up tomorrow. But we're hopeful that that Tips will be ready to go.
Yeah, you've got cover obviously in Sam Lewis, who was the coach's player of the year, I guess, in your awards now.
Yeah, and I think that's you know, it's due credit really to Sam. He's really knuckled down, and he put a lot of pressure on the coaching team early on about wanting to play more, and we've talked and told him what areas of his game needed to improve on. He's gone and done that. He's forced our hand in terms of the way that we've played our game with playing both him and Tips, and we think it was recognition of a hell of a good year. Again, where he fits in the bigger scheme of things at the moment for what we need as a team, we'll just wait and see. We'll play that out in the next day or two.
Do you feel you might sneak a place on playing this South Africa?
Oh, yeah, I'd say, mate. Yeah, hopefully so.
Do you think so?
Yeah, well, I think you get quality players like that. You've got to put them out in the field when it gets to stages like this in the competition, don't you? So we'll just, again, yeah, I'd say that he'd be there or thereabouts, mate.
Back to South Africa.
Yeah.
Is he European qualified? How do you work with him?
Time server, so yeah, so again it's just a matter of, because he's so young, there's an opportunity for him, so that's how we're looking around that. Obviously we'll have to manage that.
Is the situation with Justin Tipperick, is he still going to need an operation this summer?
Oh mate, I haven't really focused too much on what's going on there. I mean, there's obviously all the speculation that's out there. I meant, to be fair, we've just been focusing on these this week, and then you know, what we need out of the following week come forward.
Is he not Walker anywhere close?
No, he won't feature for us. No, he's mending well, but he's not ready.
You're obviously going to be dependent on other results going your way to get into the playoffs. You know, you can do as much as you can. If you don't qualify, is that regarded as a failure?
Well, it depends on where you sit, I guess. From our perspective, is that we really, I mean, we'll cross that bridge when we need to, if we need to. But you know, we've got a really young squad. We've had a hell of a lot of guys in and out. You know, there has been a number of changes. I think you've just got to look at, you know, it's my first year in here. There's, you know, the way that I go about things, it's taken, you know, takes its time, like everything. So again, if we don't quite reach that, then I don't think it's going to be a failure. What we've done is we've unearthed a hell of a lot of young guys who have all stepped up to the plate and done well. We've solidified some of the stuff around our coaching structures and the way that we want to play. So you know, what we're looking at is it's a, you know, a real positive time. We believe that we're good enough to be in the playoffs, and we are chasing that with everything that we've got. And again, like you say, other results have to go our way, but you know, we need a decent performance. That's what we're focusing on, and then we'll cross that when we need to.
So obviously this is a team, a region that have become accustomed to reaching playoffs and winning playoffs as well.
Yeah.
But are you saying then that this has been more about consolidation this year rather than?
Well, there's no doubt that we've been rebuilding. I think the other thing this region's has been, you know, proudly hosted before is some world-class international players, and I think, as you've seen over the last little bit, or even the little bit that I've been following before I came here, that's filtered out. You know, we're not the same team we were 18 months, 2 years ago. So, you know, naturally things will take their course. We've got some stars in our team. There's no doubt about that. Welsh and British and Irish Lions players. You know, but the injuries we've had, with all the bits and pieces, you know, that go on during a season, you know, we probably haven't had the consistency out of the big games, out of those guys that we've wanted. Now, that's not their fault, it's just how it is. So again, what we're looking at is that we've been forced into playing younger guys and looking at the next level, and we've done that, and we look at that as a success. And you know, again, we just keep focusing on the here and the now, what we need as a team, what we need as a group. And you know, so again, we think we're in a good space.
Nicky Smith has signed a new contract today. How much of an impression has he made on you?
Yeah, Nicky's again one of these young guys that has been handed an opportunity and has taken it. Again, still got lots of learning, but has shown physically, mentally, that he's got the capacity to live at this level and to kick on, and I think that's a real positive for him, real positive for Ospreys for sure. And again, he's going to get an opportunity over the next couple of weeks to again just to keep beating down things and showing us what he's got. But we're excited by what Nicky's got to bring, and again, looking forward to what he's going to produce for us in the future.
Obviously, you're not picking the Wales squad, but if you had a chance to really tout one of your guys, an uncapped maybe guy, and you thought, you know what, this lad really deserves to go on to get a Wales squad, who would it be?
I think there's a few guys that would be pretty. I think it would be pretty hard for me to single anybody out in particular. But I think if you look at the likes of, I think, Dan Baker, for example, but Scott Baldwin, I think, has shown that he's in the absence of Gibbes, has really sort of stepped his game up. Again, I think I'm not the selector, so I don't know what they're thinking. But those sort of young guys, those are the sorts of guys. As a forwards coach, I'd be definitely pushing forward. So. Sam Lewis would be nice to see him there and floating around as well. But again, you just never know.